I am Gianna Joels. I am an independent lighting designer and independent lighting educator, I call myself. My practice is called concepDUAL. It's a wordplay between concept or conceptual thinking and duality. Light and shadow design in reference to looking at the design process from multiple perspectives in reference to holistic design. I am based in Brazil, where I'm from. How did I get into lighting? That's a tricky question because I was born in lighting more or less, but how did I get into it professionally? My dad invested some money in an architectural lighting company when I was in architecture school. So I was invited to be an intern there, and not by him, but his partner. So I got this internship, and it was quite easy for me to communicate both with the architecture people and the lighting people because I was a architecture student raised by a stage lighting designer. Then through this internship, it became my job, and I became an associate when I graduated. I gained a lot of lighting techniques and lighting technology knowledge, but I felt that I needed to know a lot more about light, really a lot more, especially in order to make some kind of difference. And that's when I decided to go to KTH, to the lighting laboratory. And that was a move that changed my life and shaped my career, forever. My work is basically divided in architectural lighting design projects and lighting design education. In an independent way, I do have a job at the European Design Institute in Rio, where I teach interior designers about lighting. But I do a lot more in this educational thing. Being here in Uruguay with the Encuentro committee, and then I develop a lot of courses for the SBI and many other educational activities. So it's really like split. And what I really like more about what I do is this flexibility, is doing different things around light, and really is like the possibility to work with people and helping them doing what they want to do. I feel like I'm a lighting designer that facilitates, people in achieving something, either in a project, like you have a shop and you have a vision, and I help you with the light, of course, but also as an educator, like in tutoring a student, trying to find the right answer for his research question or her research question. It's like I really try not to interfere with content, but with structuring methods and helping people to achieve something that is based on what they want to do. And this is really something that I like. And then in parallel, there is another thing that I do is a creative process consultancy for lighting designers. So I have done that with more than one company, but basically I have a very long-term project with Monica and LD Studio. I've been working with them for more than 2 years, more or less, in redefining their creative process or their design method. And this is really nice because it's again helping people doing better their job in lighting. And for me personally, because I only do very small projects nowadays, it keeps me in contact with these big scale, high impact projects. My projects, the small ones that I do myself, how do I select them? Based on mainly the relationships that I will be able to develop. So it's like, oh, this couple, they are so interesting, and I want to be with them, so I will do their house. Or this person who is investing in some kind of innovative business, and like-minded people. I don't like bad energy. I want to be around nice people all the time. And basically that's it. If I try to give a very short answer, basically we create ambiances. And what is ambience is like, it's what defines how we feel in a space. So with light, with this interaction with the materials, will provide atmosphere, character, spatiality, and this is much more important than the basic visibility needs. So when we know how to look at light and see light with these light-aware eyes, then we are able, to create ambiances and ultimately, define how people will feel. So this is, I think, the ultimate importance of light. I'm personally a very suspicious person in relation to technology. I'm not against technology. That would be pretty stupid. I'm really pro. I'm really positive to development and innovation. But I believe we have to be very careful when we accept new technologies in our lives, personally. And as designers, we will also be, being an interface and adding technology into people's lives. So right now there is a lot of technology that we don't know yet how it impacts on us. I mean, we bring these light integrated screens in our beds every night, and it interrupts us with our, so it's kind of very extreme, I understand, in relation to our natural life and cycle. So as designers, I think we have to be very careful with that as well. And as I try to look at things from this big perspective, I also think it's a tricky issue with technology because, the development of technology is definitely related to very, very big issues and like global strategies for business development and market development. Technology is coming after research, and research is financed. By whom? By the industry. So it's a tricky issue. I think we have to take into consideration. And then, the impact of technology in our work, definitely it will impact the solutions we provide and the results that arise. But I'm really, really stubborn in trying to make people understand that it should not at all influence the initial stages of our design. We design based on creating a visual world and creating experiences and sensations, and that is not related to technology. Technology comes very, very much in the, far in the process. Not in the beginning. So I don't think it should have its own place and come on the right time. A limited budget would allow for a very deep and a wide look into the idea of light culture. And this is something that I would really be interested in exploring. Like how is it that natural lighting affects the way people relate with light, and even how they, relate with artificial light as a consequence of that. So this is a topic that for me it's quite easy to explain and understand, but it's very hard, to assess, evaluate, or even to prove. So it would be with all this money, it would be good to create like this very complete database of information and vast traveling. Once I started as a small database with some students, putting together a natural light phenomena with an artificial lighting situation typical to that same place, trying to build these kind of light culture illustrations. So with unlimited budget, it would be able to create like a global platform for this issue or something like this. There's another question I would be really interested to looking into, which is a little bit related with my personal life, but related also with light culture, is how little light do we need? Instead of how is the minimum light? How little? How much can we live in darkness? And going back to our very essential relationship with light. Because I think we are really losing this sense of the importance of darkness. People who live in the cities, they can't not even tell what's the moon like unless it's super beautiful. But how does that influence in their lives and the cycle of the day? Before, when I went to Sweden, I realized the influence of the seasons was very extreme, and my feeling was that in Brazil, okay, we have rainy season and dry season. We have very warm in the summer and not so warm in the winter. But my sensation of the cycle of the day was it was pretty much the same all year through. And then I went to live in the farm, and I realized like, shit, we have quite a difference between the winter and the summertime. It's those 2-3 hours perhaps, but when you are in the natural environment, it makes such a big difference in relation to the time you wake up and when you go to sleep. In the winter, my kids, they go to bed at 8. And in the summer, it's like until 10. They cannot, rest, even though it's dark much before. Of course, there are many projects, but I thought I wanted to select some very recent projects, so I have this very fresh pride in a way. And there is this one project that I really like. It's the Portal Aqua or Aqua Gate. It's a temporary facade lighting installation that it was commissioned to LD Studio, and it came in a timing in our consultancy, the consultancy I'm developing with them for their design process, and it was in the perfect timing so we could test our first draft of design method. And it was the first time the whole team of LD Studio was engaged in one same project. It was really pro bono, it was really like, and it was a huge facade designed by Norman Foster in Rio, so it was, I mean, an opportunity also to create some kind of light awareness to the general public. And why does it make me proud? Because it was a process in which everyone was super happy during the entire process. And the initial motivation for Monica to invite me to help them to develop a new design process was basically to raise the level of happiness within the studio. So this project was like super nice example. And this is the project that all the lighting, because it was ephemeral, it was temporary, it was coming with theater equipment. That was my dad who installed everything. It's a challenge. I'm still in the process. I mean, somehow it's a forever term challenge, I think, that I am facing, which is basically like to reinvent myself professionally, to keep up with my personal and lifestyle and family choices. Because, as you have said, I'm not a very regular person in my journey. So, but I will never give up, being a lighting person independently where I am. Like now, I live in this farm, no electricity. I'm an international lighting person. So, I mean, in a way, all my career has had this combination of, okay, how do I adapt to my, personal decisions? So first, I quit my job here. I went to Sweden, and then that was quite easy. Then I went to Barcelona for personal reasons, and there I was working with Maurici Gines at Artec 3. I mean, amazing studio, amazing projects, amazing international team. I was super happy. I was the head of the lighting department. But there, somewhere, I felt, oh, there is something in research and education for me. And then I decided to move to Sweden and to get a job at the lighting laboratory. But then I stayed married in Barcelona. So and then sometime after that, I had my first child, and I had this long maternity leave. And that was when I was invited to design a light game for the Encuentro in Querétaro, Mexico. It was 2012. So it was opening up also possibilities for me to be in the lighting world in alternative ways. Okay, before I had like job and education, but there are other things we can do. So then at some point we decided it's time to go back to Brazil and go home and work from home. And it was clear for me I wanted to have these diverse activities. So I wanted to work with projects, I wanted to educate, but I didn't want to go either into a company or the university. And that's where I started to collaborate with the ASBAI as a collaborator to the board of directors, creating educational activities for the Brazilian community. And I have been there since then, and it's pretty hard to not to be there because we do so many cool things together. And then with my second child, it came this decision to move to a farm, live off-grid in this no electricity house. We only use solar-powered luminaires. And, I raise my kids in free-range, natural life, but still I keep up with my international career. I'm here. I was in Seattle lecturing, Chicago, in Alingsås, So this is an ongoing challenge of my daily life. If I had to give you one name, it would be no question Jon Eyhed. I was his student, and then he was my tutor, and then he was my boss, and he's my mentor. And I mean, I'm very happy and honored because he listens to me, he respects me since the always, but and we have a very good collaboration still, and we're working on something that hopefully won't take too long to be published. And I mean, it was he is for sure the most influential lighting designer and educator in my life. And then when I'm here in Colonia, in Uruguay, and at the Encuentro, I also have to mention definitely Maria João Pinto Coelho. We first met in Alingsås. She was my workshop head. And after that, she made sure we would meet again and again, including this invitation to be in Querétaro, in the Encuentro, designing a light game. And this is pretty much related to me being here today as a committee member. I mean, and before my career, I mean, there was my dad. I mean, and how did my dad being lighting designer influence my life? I mean, in a way, it was really confusing, and sometimes I was also ashamed when I had to answer the question, what does your dad do? I mean, I really remember filling those forms, you know, like father, name, profession, and I was writing every now and then businessman because I didn't know, like, how do I write lighting designer? And in Brazil, it's even more complicated. We don't have the term designer, I mean, in proper words. So, I mean, it has an influence, that's for sure. Light is my vocabulary. I mean, it's my lexicon. It's the words that I use to influence people's life, and so I'm all the time, you know, aware of it. I'm a lighting lover. I'm a shadow freak, and I'm, you know, constantly observing light with a very active, you know, eyes, because it's providing us information on everything, where we are, what time is it, and most of the time it's providing us beauty. I think this is a reflection of the political, social systems we live in. I mean, many systems around the globe, but they share this similarity. I don't think it's meant or planned to be like this today. It's a reflection, because in a way we are in a world that is still ruled by these cruel, outdated, binary, meshes protocols. The first thing that I think it's really important is that we cannot neglect it or ignore it, as you are doing. This is so nice. I mean, it's not that we have to like find excuses or pretend it's not like this, or not to worry about it. And then if we are aware of it, if we face it as an issue, then we should talk about it. And then do whatever we can do in every situation where we are. That's why I really like this project. You're not an activism project. You are just awareness, creation of awareness of the issue. So it's really nice. I cannot miss this opportunity to talk about three things. One is the fact that I'm a member and in the board of the Brazilian Association of Lighting Architects, as we call it, the ASBAI. And our active executive board of directors is 100% women. We are 5 ladies, me, Paula Carnelos, Fernanda Carvalho, Mariana Novaes, and Leticia Mariotto. We were working very hard for the lighting community, and we are all girls. I mean, this is one thing. The other thing is, when we held the Encuentro in Brazil, in Ouro Preto, in 2016, it was not really decided like that, but I was, you know, going through it in my head these days, and we had 4 speakers. All the rest of the time was filled with workshops and activities and games and so on. 2 were men, 2 were women. So 2 were international, 2 were local. So we had this balance, which was, I think, in a way natural. And last but not least, I mean, this consultancy job I do with LD Studio, I mean, I have the privilege to be an external collaborator to the most prestigious awarded lighting practice in my country, which is not only employing or having a team that is mainly ladies, but it's also owned by 2 women. So by saying those 3 things, do I mean Brazil is in the front line, that we are so great? Not at all. I mean, unfortunately, we are right now facing a very conservative, machist, racist government. It's a really, really strong time for us politically. I'm personally very, very, worried about this. It's definitely related to this choice of living off-grid, trying to disconnect a bit from this cruel reality. And this creates the feeling that we need to be even more aware. I mean, and how do we face this? We have to work our best. This is the way we prove that, or we do stuff. But I think, despite everything we do is context-based. We are in a very bad context and still we're managing to do amazing things. So this is the inspiration that I want to share.